It's the signature for me.
Everybody want to know, like, say, how are you doing a TV show, documentary, before you even do the movie about a movie you haven't done yet? I keep trying to tell them, I'm the movie. Greetings, everybody. What's up? I have my friend here, Professor Art Murray. He will be interviewing me, and we'll be talking about childhood trauma. My story about childhood trauma and what I've been through. So stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello guys, welcome to the Signature Show, and we have none other than Swanye Signature Smith right here with us, guys. Let me tell you something about this gentleman. Swanye has a journey. He has a story to tell, and he is very important to our School of Communications department. But we're going to get inside his story today, and we're going to find out what makes Swanye tick. So go ahead. This is your show.
This is definitely my show, but we have a special guest, which is you, who has been very influential in my life as, you know, a student here. So we're here to really talk about childhood trauma. Everybody want to know my story and kind of how I really got to this point, right? And it all started with childhood trauma.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So I don't know if anybody here knows about the history of African Americans. Okay, so obviously there's trauma that, you know, that happens. I mean, ever since slavery, there's always been trauma. Okay, so let's go to your story. First of all, who is Swanye Smith?
I didn't see that one coming. A friend of mine in junior college by the name of Zach. He was my Hum D teacher. Like it's the first class you take when you enter into college, right? He had a statement from Carl G. Jung that said, "The world will ask you who you are. If you do not know, the world will tell you." So let me tell the world who I am before they tell me who I am, right? I am a filmmaker. I am a proud TSU Tiger and a very proud School of Communications student. I am a person, nonetheless, who came from a good background, so to speak, but I also came through a lot of dysfunction. In turn, kind of shaped me in two different aspects.
How so?
What was told to me was the parents that I was living with wasn't my parents. Then the story goes on to say that my mom gave me to these two people because she couldn't take care of me, and I'm her oldest. That was traumatic in itself too, because now I'm hearing a story based on other people, and I'm experiencing things that didn't quite go together. As I grew up, I knew who my biological mother was. I went over there with her during summer, things of that nature, and the man who is to be my father came and took me away from this woman. He came, beat on the door, kicked in the door, snatched me away from her, and took me back to where they lived, right? And no police was called, no argument was taking place. You know, afterwards, it was like a piece of my whole life was missing at that point. I had a phone call from my stepfather, which is my mother's husband and the father of my younger siblings. I get this phone call, and my stepdaddy said, "Where's your mama?" The woman who raised me, which right. I consider my mother because she raised me since I was 9 months old. I said, "Well, she's in the room." He said, "Well, okay, go get her." As she got off, she just told the truth. "Your mother is dead, you know, she's gone." That's when all hell broke loose.
So we're going to hold it there for a second. So we'll be right back, guys. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with Swanye Smith and the rest of his story.
Houston, we have a problem.
We're the new all-star team. I'm Rob G. the General.
I'm Amir Diamond.
I'm Michelle McKnight.
And we are bringing you the best of Houston's culture in hip-hop, R&B, and neo-soul.
Catch the all-new Vibe, your free community streaming station.
Vibe out anytime in H-Town, Sugarland, Pearland, Katy, Midtown, Humble, The Woodlands.
By downloading the Vibe app directly to your smartphones.
The Vibe.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Signature Show with none other than Swanye Signature Smith over here, guys. And he has a very important story that's going to tell you why he is Swanye Smith and what he's gone through. So we were talking earlier in this segment about your mom and losing your mom.
Right. In the process, I found out the gruesome details of what actually happened to my mother. I had no feeling in my heart. It was stoned. I was like, I'm still trying to put the pieces of my life together from trying to understand as a kid a mother who didn't want her child and give that child away, and trying to figure that out. I lose the prime person who had all the answers. I began to be very angry, and at that point, I made it up into my mind, that person, he get what he gave. And at that particular point, I smoked my first joint, took my first drink, owned my first pistol, and had my first gang.
So you went on a journey, I guess want to call it a criminal journey, or just what did you do? It
was just a learning experience that a lot of times I wasn't doing the right thing.
Gotcha.
The experience I'm mentioning is the fact that these things was easily accessible to me in order to create revenge. Me and my younger brother, the one that's 1 year younger than me, we hit the streets. He had friends already, you know. Right. So we hit the streets with him. I'm asking him, hey, well, we can get some weed. We went and got the weed. We went and got everything we needed, and we sat and plot and planned on what we were gonna do to the dude who killed our mother. The story is intricate based on the people.
Right.
To give you a little more insight to the story that was told to me as a kid. The two people that raised me was looking for a child that they could raise or adopt or whatever, because the mother who raised me couldn't have kids. These people all intertwined with each other prior to me being in existence. In turn, my mom was in the streets as a drug addict, and she was young, promiscuous. She was doing what she was doing. I don't hold nothing against her now. Then I did.
So was it anger you were feeling? What were you feeling?
Besides the anger, I felt lost because I had no one to ask the questions I needed answers to. And it took me a long time to actually get over this trauma.
So going back to the trauma was when your mom died, and what else do you think?
When I knew or felt like I had a mother who didn't care to raise me on her own.
All right, so we're going to take another break. We're going to take another 1 minute break. We'll be right back. And once again, Swanye's story, more to come.
The HBCU experience is really tradition. It's a sense of pride, and it's a sense of accomplishment.
One of the overarching goal of the School of Communication is to train the next generation of storytellers.
It's practical life experience and professional life experience, and that should help them to be more prepared when they go out into the workforce.
Communications Week, which is an awesome opportunity for students to network with professionals.
We host events on campus. We bring in different celebrities from all over the world.
We put on a showcase that allows the students to bring in artists that they manage. They collaborate in order to get the full spectrum of product as it relates to the entertainment business.
Come join us.
And welcome back to the Signature Show. We're talking about childhood trauma and basically talking about that journey, Swanye. So let's go back to what you were talking about before. What do you think motivated you and all this anger you had? I mean, what did it do to you growing up?
Honestly, I was mad with God at first. At one point, I was like, what did I do to deserve all of this that's happening? I faulted myself, which I didn't understand why I was faulting me, right? And I wanted to take that anger out on the person who took my mother, but I couldn't.
So you found other people to take it out on?
I took it out on life. I took it out on myself. I took it out on the parents who raised me. I ended up going to state school as a youth for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It was more like a boot camp, so to speak. You know, it had a fence that you couldn't escape from, but it wasn't bars. And so in the process of me being in state jail, my father passed away.
So how old were you then?
14.
Okay.
And so when he passed away, I became more angry because I'm like, what is it about me that got me going through this process, right? So I got out a month later.
This is from state school.
From state school.
Okay.
I got out a month later. I had a clear, focused mindset. Then trauma hit me again. I come home and find out the woman who raised me from 9 months old, who I consider my mother, had cancer. And it was so bad that I could be laying in bed at night sleep, and she would holler. They had been hiding it from me for a long time. My biggest regret out of everything I did, I left, because I couldn't take the trauma no more.
You left the house.
Yes.
At what age was this?
17.
17. So you left, and what happened after that?
I started hanging with the weed man, selling weed, and then he's a DJ, so I was working as a DJ. I was doing a lot of different things. This is a full circle moment,
Okay.
right? The lady who I was dating, her cousin was married to a dude who used to pick me up from skipping school. They came and picked us up and took us to Houston for Christmas. My mama said that I would be there, and had everybody come to her house for Christmas. I didn't even know I was gonna be there. And I had the opportunity to stay at that point, but I left again. 7 days later, they called me and told me she had passed away. And
So at this point, the second woman in your life had passed. Okay. So
the only one that made a difference.
So she was the one that made a difference in your life. So that was the woman that mentored you, raised you.
As a mother, as something I was lacking. She showed me what I am today. Love. And I'm glad I know love, because that's why I'm sitting right here right now.
We'll talk about more of that when we return. We'll take a quick break. More to come about Swanye Smith. Welcome back to the Signature Show, and man, this is a story. It's a story.
Yeah.
So tell us more about this journey and about, what made you turn around, and why are you here at Texas Southern University? So let's go back to this story.
First off, let me say this to the people. I did not know that was coming. I felt that pain, right then at that moment. It's like taking that journey, that pain arose, which you'll find out more of what happened here, right? So I was at a job. I worked at Hewlett Packard for a while, and at the time I was doing pretty good, but I needed more. And I found a talent that God placed in me, which was editing film. And I was watching the Grammys one day, and I saw that somebody could get a Grammy for film, which I was in the music industry at first. So in the process of all of the things that was happening, I was trying to even out my life and correct my life. So I made music, put out a little CD, put a song out on Swisher House with Michael Watts. I thought about my parents and what they would want from me, and I needed something better for myself. So I walked right over to Lone Star University Park, which was partnered with Texas Southern University at the time. So my whole academic plan was based off TSU's RTL program.
All right.
In that process, I didn't let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Still looking for the man who killed my mother. All the while, God was working with me. What people don't understand is the brain is a muscle. You have to exercise that muscle just like you would exercise your biceps, your quads, your legs, your chest.
So you took all this energy that you had, all this anger, and you applied it to school.
I did.
What kind of student were you?
Dealing with the trauma coming up through elementary, middle school, I've always been an A and B student. TSU changed my life and changed my paradigm because I found out of TSU what I had lost, and that was love. I found something that engulfed me with everything that made me happy.
So you found family?
I found family, I found friends, I found job opportunities, I found people who cared about our well-being as students, you know what I mean? I started to take that energy and reciprocate it back, and it became this flowing thing like breathing. I'm getting good energy, so I'm putting back out good energy. And I sit here with you today to tell you that I almost gave all this up. 2 years ago, I'm scrolling the internet. So I'm scrolling, and the person who narrated this scene, as soon as the camera pans up, it shows the dude that I've been looking for all my life.
And he was?
The man who killed my mother. I saw it, I'm like, nah, this can't be true. This looked like him. This is what I'm talking to myself. Now I'm arguing with me. He said, what's your name, sir? And when the man said his name, which I knew because I went and did the research, right, I immediately dropped my phone, picked it up, and messaged the dude like, hey, what is that? I wanted to see if I could help. But help wasn't on my mind.
What was going through your mind?
I can get closure.
Okay.
That's what was on my mind. I can get closure.
So that revenge you've been looking for
Was
and
about
that
to
anger
happen.
was about to happen.
It was.
In your mind, you made your mind up already.
Since the dude didn't respond, I just went back and looked at the video, like, oh, that's right there by Gray and, wherever else. I literally went home, got everything I needed for work, came to work with the intention on leaving work and going to that area, do whatever I needed to do to help, right? And come on back to work. And it was literally on my mind as if it was like going to get a glass of water. I happened to have been walking around my job trying to find a place where I can get my head together and come up with an alibi, whatever I needed. And I ended up walking in where Rob G was at, and he saw something wrong. And he sat down and he started talking to me. And before I knew it, everything had bubbled up. And I told him exactly what I'm telling everybody here today, the whole story about the dude who killed my mom, this, that, and the other, and how I was about to throw it all away. And I began to cry because at that moment, I forgave the cat. It was like weight was lifted off my shoulders, but I began to get angry again because forgiveness is a powerful thing, but it's a hurtful one too because it's something deep down inside you feel like you don't want to do, but it's the best thing for you to do.
One more segment I think we have with Swanye. The story is getting better and better.
One thing I can say about Swanye, I just met him it's been about 3 years. And I've only known the hardworking, diligent, detailed Swanye, the guy who is always there for everybody, the giving Swanye. And so on this particular day, I don't know. It was just something on his spirit. It just seemed something about him. And so I just, happened to ask. I had no idea of what was on Swanye's mind and what he really planned on doing when he said he was going to throw it all away. I thought maybe, people throw things away, maybe you throw away a reputation or you give up on a relationship or something like that. But I didn't know that retaliation, vengeance was on his mind. No idea. And it's probably better. The only thing I know is that God was using me as a vessel to get to him. And the reason I know that is because, typically I am not at the radio station. Most of my work is done from home. So for me to be here on this particular day means something had to draw me up here. And when I say something had to draw me up here, it was nothing but God. It was nothing but God to put me in a position and to give him some words, to give Swanye some words that were going to help change his focus, change his point of view. I was only looking at it from the fact of forgiveness is something that if you hold on to it, it's a poison that ultimately kills you. If you don't forgive, you're ultimately just poisoning yourself. And I was just trying to pass that along. I didn't know how deep the poison and how much poison he was really drinking that particular day. I didn't know by the gallon that he was knocking it back like sweet tea. But I'm just thankful for the God because I know there's too many people up here that count on him. I'm one of the ones that count on him. Whenever I need film work and things like that, I count on Swanye. So I know just the little small thing that I do is nowhere near compared to his other family members and loved ones and what he means to KTSU. So I'm thankful that one, God used me, but two, I'm also thankful that that Swanye was receptive to the words. It could have gone in and out the other, and he could have just kept on his path. But at least he was receptive, and God agitated his spirit enough to change it and turn it all around. So to God be the glory.
So, forgiveness. Let's stop there, and we're going to be right back with the Signature Show.
It's the signature for me.
And welcome back to the Signature Show. And we're talking about Swanye's journey with Swanye Smith here. And once again, guys, this is a story about childhood trauma. And he's been taking us literally on a journey of his life. And so getting back to the story, this is going to be our last segment, but getting back to the story, we're going to see the full circle aspect of it. So Swanye, let's go ahead and continue the story.
I'm into my second year of my master's when this happened.
So you come to Texas Southern University, you meet the teachers, they're like family, okay?
Right.
And you become, actually, Swanye Smith, guys, becomes one of the go-to people at the university, okay? And in the School of Communications. You know, you become, you're already editing 699 projects.
Right.
You're editing the 499 projects for students. You're the man.
Right.
You're the man. You came because you came here with some experience, knowing how to shoot, how to edit, and how to do those things. But when you got here, what happened?
To be honest with you, when I got here, before I got here, I didn't know how to shoot.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I didn't know how to shoot. I knew how to edit. And I learned how to edit through YouTube University, right? But when I got here, the staff and professors poured into me. Y'all showed me that I was who I needed to be, right? And I became a household name, really. Really, I became a household name in the School of Communications and at Texas Southern University as a whole. I'm working on my master's. I've already, like you said, I've done, in my undergrad, I've done like 5 other master's projects that help students graduate.
Right.
I've interned, went to Monterey for the Jazz Festival twice, and the second time around, which was another full circle moment, I brought my own artist, which was there the first time as well. And
the artist was who?
Her name is Elena Arnez, and y'all need to check her out. Definitely, she's a smoking gun right now in the R&B world. She does R&B fusion, and you know, she took care of her business in Monterey, so I'm proud of her. But these are full circle moments to me. God showed me the beginning, and He showed me what my future would look like. And in the process, that process in the middle, because that's what it is, the process. He didn't show me that. Because had I known I had to go through all of what I went through to be where I am today, I probably wouldn't want the blessing. To be honest with you, in the religious realm, I don't want to necessarily just say that God put me through anything. I will say that in the spiritual realm, God was sharpening me to be as great as I need to be for His purpose. And I'm still being sharpened.
And what do you think that purpose is?
To show people what love really is. I think that's the purpose, because that's what I've experienced the most. So I give back. My overall purpose is making people happy and, of course, making good movies, good film, good digital productions. That's my main goal.
Speaking of film, though, this will be a film. The Swanye story, a signature story, I should say.
It actually will be, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that once it's all said and done, I'll be able to come and be a professor like the professors that poured into me here, so I can pour into other students, and those students will help me turn this story into a featured length or a short, or both.
Last question I'm gonna have for you though. What do you think your passion is in life?
It's a great question, sir. My passion in life is to make people smile. I get a kick out of that. And I think that passion and purpose is because I felt so sad for so long. And I couldn't do nothing but try to figure out ways to make me happy. And in turn, it just became a natural thing.
Is there anything else in this story that we haven't talked about that you want to share?
Something I heard biblically. There was a time I heard, I don't know when it was biblically, but where there was a storm and Jesus was on the boat and he was asleep, right? And the storm was rocking the boat and the waves, and the people on the boat that was with Jesus was scared. They woke him up and he said, "Peace, be still," and everything became still, right? What I realized was he was talking to something, and it wasn't the storm. He directed his conversation straight to one thing. He said, "Peace," like he was calling the name of it. Peace, be still. Because sometimes your peace can be stirred up by certain things that's taking place, right? But the moment you allow your peace to be still, everything will go back to normal. So I feel like my life is back to normal.
All right, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So once again, guys, Swanye Smith, awesome story. You'll also be able to see this in the film. As he said, it's going to be coming up very, very soon. And once again, I'm your host, Professor Arthur Murray, on The Signature Show. And we hope you guys really enjoyed this story. And I know it's going to be a great dynamic project that you're going to put together. So we're going to end this show with that message: peace and understanding, and understanding that discipline comes through peace as well. You know, you have to be a disciplined person to understand what the blessings are.
Right.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining us for The Signature Show. Until the next time, thank you, and we'll see you guys later.
And then reach for the flame. From my envisions of society, I'm trapped in the game. Pleasure and pain got me addicted, drama's hard to cope. Pictures flashing of my mom, I realize my hope. I lit a cigarette, vision this, inhale the smoke. Release with anguish of vanity, pierce the lost cause of hope. For the most of what was wrote, spoken in the blind. Escape between love and hate is the shape of a thin line. Pursuit of pause, my memories sit back and unwind. Some fake the funk and other